Hello, we are going to make a welt seam. We start by making a regular plain seam. So I'll start by measuring the seam allowance of 5/8 of an inch. Measure 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch. So I've measured the seam allowance, and now I'm going to make the plain seam first. So this is the plain seam, and I'm going to iron on one side. So we take the seam and you iron on one side or to one side. So it has been ironed on one side, and remember, this is the wrong side and this is the wrong side. So I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch from the inside seam allowance, and then I trim. So I'm going to use the measuring cage to measure 3/8 of an inch from the inside seam allowance. 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to trim out the 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to trim out 3/8 of an inch. So trimming out 1/8 of an inch from the inside seam allowance, and then I'm going to top stitch 3/8 of an inch from the right side. I'm going to turn to the right side and I stitch. It's the right side, and I stitch 3/8 of an inch from the seam line. This is the seam line. You can see the seam line is here. So I'm going to stitch from the seam line 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to stitch 3/4 of an inch from the seam line. So this is the Welt Seam from the outside, and this is how it looks from the inside. It's the wrong side, remember I marked, and this is from the outside. So we are going to iron. Always remember to iron for your work to be neat. Yeah, it's good for fabrics which are not fraying. Can use it for fabrics which are not fraying. Thank you. This is the inside and this is the outside. Thank you for watching up to the end of the video. Please remember to subscribe, and I wish you the best when you are making a welt seam. Bye bye. Hello, we are going to make a welt seam. We start by making a regular plain seam. So I'll start by measuring the seam allowance of 5/8 of an inch. Measure 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch. So I've measured the seam allowance, and now I'm going to make the plain seam first.